I'm Victoria. I'm Vanessa. Yeah, it's okay if you can't tell us apart. I guess we would call it Twingineering. Yeah.
Welcome back to our third episode. Yes, where we talk about organizations and the importance of community. This is the reason why we're here, so we love to talk about it. First, let's if you're new here, I'm Vanessa.
I'm Victoria.
So what we like to do first, we like to do some weekly updates. We're gonna do some highs and some lows because we have both of those all the time.
Yeah.
So you want to start with your low, Victoria, or you want me to start?
Sure, I can start with my low. My low was that I really haven't slept well this whole week. It's really been a bummer, really. Because then I gotta go to work the next day. And then I'm tired again.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's my low. Take it away, Vanessa.
Oh, let me just mention that we are not using our mics because I am currently not home. I am in Kentucky, which brings me to my low. Well, kind of. So I am working this weekend. So we are filming this and not our usual time. But I am working overtime by choice though, so really did it to myself. But also, I'd say it's like a solid 6 out of 10. So not the best. But let's bring up the energy.
Yeah.
Victoria, what's your high?
My high, this past week I went to Disneyland. It was after work though, so I was a little tired, but it's fine because I bought a coffee and it was really good. I might make a TikTok about it, so follow me on TikTok.
Cue the TikToks. Yeah. So for me, I went to a concert last weekend. It was like a R&B event, not so much concert. It was good. I love R&B music. I knew most of the songs. I was singing along. It was a good time. It was a good time. Yeah. So those are it. What we also like to do is give some engineering news or important articles. Victoria, take it away.
Yeah, so it's not, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. So this is not necessarily like engineering news, like what happened this week, but I do want to bring up a book that I've been reading. I've been trying to read. It's just been really hectic this past week, but the book is called Invisible Women, Data Bias in a World Designed for Men. And I think so far it's just been a really good read. You learn, a lot of the ways that the world is biased for men. I mean, literally in everything, but like you get like actual examples, and so I'm still like barely starting. Hopefully I can share like more about it, but I definitely recommend it. It also like opens your brain a little bit, your eyes just to like things you may not have thought about before. So yeah, we gotta close the gap, everyone. So
Send it over to me when you're done. Anyways, so thank you for sharing. Highly recommend that book. I haven't read it, but I still highly recommend it by the title. So something new that we learned in our current role. We also like to share that so we can let you know that engineering is we learn all the time. So for me, this is pretty simple, but I did learn how to write some trouble reports. So when there's problems with parts, you have to write them up. And also by doing that, I also get familiar with the engine parts. Working for Honda Automotive, clearly at an engine plant. I didn't know anything before I started, and now it's like all the knowledge I have now is because I started working there. So, I think it's pretty cool. And if you ask me about an engine, or I may or may not be able to tell you what the part is. So
I will not be able to, so you can't confuse us on that, please. I will not answer your question. Something that I've learned is just like different environmental tests that the product that I'm working on has gone through. And just like learning about like what goes into those tests, like what are the requirements, the standards, and just like things like that. I run the functionality tests like while it's going through those environmental tests or after and before just to make sure that it's like functioning. But yeah, it's still cool to learn about like the environmental tests that it goes through. For example, an environmental test, for example, can just be like um altitude, like an altitude test, like putting this product in like where there's like low air pressure. Yeah, and see like how it reacts and stuff. So yeah.
cool, cool, cool. We both learned something. Our brains are getting bigger, and
My head is big enough, thank you.
so let's get right into this episode's theme. So we're going to talk about organizations and the importance of community. So let's first talk about organizations and um, why being involved is so important. So we didn't really like phrase questions or anything, so I guess I'll just talk about my experience of being involved, and then we'll go off of that. But um, so it all started in college when I realized the importance of being involved. So, um, being in electrical engineering, a woman in electrical engineering, a Latina in electrical engineering, at times it can be very isolating and intimidating. Noticing that there aren't a lot of people who look like you. Um, and one thing that I struggled with was feeling connected with people, and I think that's really important. So our sophomore year, I think it was, or end of our freshman year, we joined SWE. We started going to like their events and stuff. Society of Women Engineers at UC Davis, and I think that was the start of meeting other females in engineering. So it wasn't necessarily like just electrical or anything, but that kind of started. Um, I think it helped build my confidence to not only, um, I guess, like join that organization, but join other organizations. And then with their help and like their mentorship that I got, it also allowed me to like reach out to people. I know as we kept going, like our sophomore and junior year, I met when we met our friend Veronica through the start of the Club of Future Female Electrical Engineers. And I think, well, one, that organization did help us like build a community, but also find other people who supported um, our mission, but also um, like they knew we were struggling and also like wanted to help. I think finding other women in electrical engineering, um, by meeting other like women in electrical engineering, um, and knowing that we like struggled together, um, I think it helped us like work together and also build each other's confidence in these fields. Like, one of us may not understand something, but the other one will. Or like, how can we also do things like outside of school that would help us like connect more. I think also being involved in these organizations, you find resources that can help you, like tutoring or like mentorship. I think mentorship is really important. Um, like I mentioned, Veronica, she was the one who helped us get to like building coffee, the Club of Future Female Electrical Engineers, but also being involved within the College of Engineering, which I was pretty intimidated about starting college. So I think it's really helped me build connections, like to network, to build my confidence and like see other people like me in these fields, or just getting the help and then gaining confidence to ask for help. I think it's um, helped me grow, but also it's pushed me to help others grow. So yeah, I will edit this later.
Yeah, so just some of the organizations that we were a part of. Vanessa mentioned SWE, the Society of Women Engineers. We were also part of CALESS, Chicanx and Latinx Engineers and Scientists Society. We were also like would do a lot of collaborations as a part of coffee with IEEE, the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. It's like yeah. I'm trying to remember. We were also like engineering ambassadors. We represented the college for like a lot of things, and we also started we co-founded our own organization, Coffee, the Club of Future Female Electrical Engineers, with Veronica, as Vanessa mentioned. And then I think just like outside, there's like outside organizations, like nonprofits, you can also join. There's like national organizations, and your colleges may have chapters of the national organizations. Like IEEE is a national organization. We have a chapter. So we as well. There's also SHPE, the Society of Hispanic and Professional Engineers. There's HSF. Well, that's more of a scholarship. Yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't say it's more of like a organization. I mean, okay, we'll talk about scholarships in a different video, but go ahead and look that up if you want. Yeah, but I think being a part of all of those not only like helped me like break out of my shell, like my little intimidation shell. I mean, not that I wasn't like, there was still a lot of like imposter syndrome, like even now. But yeah, like Vanessa and I were more comfortable like being in front of the camera, like like representing the college or like pitching the Club of Future Female Electrical Engineers in like smaller events that the electrical and computer engineering department would host, or IEEE would host. We would like table at events. There's a lot of networking opportunities with like joining organizations. And just keep in mind that a lot of these organizations like really want you to join. At least at UC Davis, like you didn't really have to apply, to those like organizations, to the clubs. I know at like some universities you like have to apply and like get accepted, but I don't think that was the case there. Maybe for like a few, but so don't be afraid to like join any clubs or organizations that you feel would help you or that you're interested in. Yeah, we also found mentorship really helpful. And that also came within the organization. So a lot of the times, like there will be opportunities for you to be like paired with someone else, in the organization. So like if you're a freshman, like and you're looking for a little bit of guidance on just navigating college, your major, you can definitely find that. Um, yeah, there's definitely like free food sometimes, you know, sometimes that's just what you need, just like free food, and all you have to do is show up to the event. But yeah, and I think you meet a lot of like friends that way, and it helps you really feel not alone. And I know like for me, I couldn't have done electrical engineering alone. So I'm definitely grateful that I was able to find um people in my classes that can help me, and you know, like we could help each other. Um because it made going through like college and um my major a lot more bearable, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely feel like having other people like to study with or to hang out with definitely does help you and your mental health in college. So
Yeah.
definitely recommend joining any organization you can within a university. Um, but also now talking about like other organizations outside of your university, um, and like other things like conferences and like Victoria was talking about like the national organizations. They do host a lot of events like outside of these universities, um, like the national conferences, I think. But I'll talk about specifically HSF, which is the Hispanic Scholarship Fund. Um, I'll just talk a little bit about it, but I think it was Veronica who encouraged Victoria and I to apply for this. So you can apply to be like a scholar, and you'll receive like the resources and their like job opportunities that they send. Um, and then like when you do apply to be a scholar, you also apply for the scholarship, I think. Um, and yeah, it's like I don't want to go too much into the like, the scholarship process, but some of the things that they do offer, and one of the things that I did or was a part of was the STEM conference that happened. Oh, sorry, my mouse is falling. um, it happened. The one that I went to was I think the summer of 2021. It was like a virtual thing because of COVID, but I did meet other um, Hispanic women in engineering. Our group we were all specifically in engineering. I know like there may be other like STEM majors, but I think the way they grouped us was so that we can relate to other women, but also within engineering. And I found that really helpful because it was pretty encouraging. I know this was like right before senior year, and it was like the time to apply for jobs and all that stuff. So, hearing like the speakers and other people talk about their experiences and how they made it into industry with being how it's like being Hispanic in this in the industries. But through this conference, sorry, um, this is how I like got my job in a way. So Honda did have like an information session. They are a sponsor of HSF, and we were able to submit our resumes, and they reached out to me about the rotation program, and a lot of the companies do that. So if they're like they have partnerships with these companies, they can reach out to you, or you can go to their events, and it's like a direct line of you finding about these opportunities. And I think that's really good to know, like when there's a job opening. And when you apply to be like a scholar, you can filter like what your interests are, so the correct opportunities will be sent to you. And I just think it's a really good resource. You can meet new people, and also find out about opportunities near you or not near you. So yeah, do you want to add on?
Yeah, just like bounce back and then like bounce forward. So we're gonna bounce back first. Um, Also another thing that different organizations offer is like information sessions from like different companies. So like they'll have companies like recruiters from those companies come in and speak, you know, to the organization, to members of the organization. And I highly recommend just going to those to like find out what those companies are about, especially if you like have no idea like what that company does. But it's just like good to know like different opportunities. And then you can also like network with the recruiters, you know. And sometimes there's like resume workshops where they'll have recruiters come in and like look at your resume, or just resume workshops and people in the organization look at your resume. And I think that those kind of like professional prep,
Development.
oh yeah, professional development workshops are really helpful. Um, and I know we had like that kind of resource just like on campus in general, but like um those are other things to look for within organizations. Like it's not just like finding friends. I mean, obviously that's like a good thing, but you can also develop professionally as well. So yeah, just like look into that.
True.
Yeah. And then yeah, like Vanessa was saying, I would definitely recommend going to conferences. I didn't really start going until like the end or like after college, and I really wish I would have attended more during college. I was always intimidated by them. I was like, what am I gonna do there? You know, like no one's gonna hire me. But there's so many like other opportunities. It's not just like interviews. Like there's times where you can do like speed interviews with companies and recruiters, but and obviously you're encouraged to sign up for those, but you don't have to. Like there's probably so many other things going on in the conference that are like also beneficial. Um, but then again, like speed interviews, like they also give you practice. Like maybe you don't, you know, move on, but at least like that was some sort of practice for you. And it's also just a good way to like meet other engineers um in different parts, different universities. It's good to know. I um have gone to like smaller like ship conferences after college, and then me and Vanessa went to ELU in Chicago, International Latina Engineers Week. Um, and that one was also like a really good experience. So you should definitely check it out um next year, this year. Yeah. So conferences, another thing. Definitely go, even if you're scared.
Yeah, I agree. Uh, for the same reasons Victoria said, like I was scared. I was like, oh, not for me, introvert, you know what I mean? But you do have to take yourself out of your comfort zone. Um, and honestly, it's some of like the most of the time, like the speakers and like the panelists that they have too, like they're pretty encouraging and it's like so insightful and inspiring. And yeah, I would encourage it. Like when we went to um the ELU, part of it was virtual and the one day was like in person. But also like during the virtual session, there was like speakers and I was like crying and I was like, that's me, you know? And yeah, so you can definitely relate to people. Not saying you're gonna cry your eyes out, but like it's a good experience.
Yeah, and it's also just like good to know like when you find someone, or at least like other like engineers, like Latinas or like, you know, other engineers who look like you know, um, then you're kind of like, oh, like if they can do it, like I can do it. It's kind of like that like little push, like I know I needed it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
representation matters.
definitely.
Do what you can for your community.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, support
Me
Latinas in
just
engineering.
agreeing.
Support Latinas in engineering and STEM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it is such a huge help resource. Like,
You don't know where it'll take you, to be honest.
yeah, people just like tell you about stuff, and then it's like that stuff that they tell you about just becomes like really useful in your life. Like you don't even know. And you won't know unless you go.
Yeah, like
So
we almost didn't become engineering ambassadors. We almost didn't. I was a little discouraged, but then
yeah,
like we did it, and then they got us like so many other opportunities. So
yeah. Like we were on the college tour.
yeah, and then we had a Twingineering video, and then like we had the article, and it was like
Yeah, so
spiral.
just, just
Just
do
do
it.
it. In the wise words of Nike. So now we'll move on into the submitted questions. Do you want to say the question or do I?
Are you looking at it? I took a
Oh yeah.
picture.
Okay, so the question was from Christian Gonzalez. He said slash asked, I know mental health is important and can be something that most people will struggle with in academia, industry, or both. How do you maintain your mental health? And do you have advice or suggestions for others? Thank you.
Thank you for asking
Thank
the
you.
question.
Let me just emphasize that mental health is very important, especially like in college if you're just college in general for the first thing, and also like studying a rigorous major. I think that's like it can be very difficult. I know I struggled, we both did, with mental health, and I didn't realize it until like COVID hit when we had to like stay home and everything. That's kind of like the time where I started realizing that, I need to take breaks when I need to, and like listen to my body and like not push myself too hard, and to understand that like my mental health comes first. Like you need to be alive to study, girl. Come on. And like there were times where like I was like, oh, I don't have time to eat, or I don't have time to sleep, and it's like it sounds so silly, but then like in the moment when you're thinking about it, you're like, no, like I have to do it because like I have to get these good grades. But at the end of the day, it's like if you don't like eat well or sleep well, like it's gonna show in your performance. Like it doesn't matter like if you stay up all night studying, if you like don't have enough sleep, like are you gonna be awake during the test? Probably not. So yeah.
No,
um,
yeah, finish what you're saying.
um, also like find things that you like to do and do them. Um, like even if it's just like taking walks, like take a walk, or um, like feeding those interests that you want to do and like keep you uh like feeling alive. I think that's very important. Even if you are like stressed out about something, I feel like that can be like a very good stress reliever. So finding those things that you like to do as well and fitting that into your schedule is very important. So definitely prioritize yourself and your health, like physically and mentally. Prioritize yourself first, um, and then everything will come after.
Yeah, I wanted to just add or like tell a story about that because when you're like, are you gonna be awake during the test? I don't think so. Like that literally happened to me when I was it was on our birthday. We were taking a physics final, okay? And I go into this final and then the professor like pulls down the screen and he was like, "Oh, make sure to like read this, right? Important information for like the following questions on the screen." I could not, like, I swear, I could not read the screen. And it wasn't because I didn't have my glasses on, because I did. Like, I could see, but I was like, you know? And then I was like, oh my God, like, what am I gonna do? Go up all the way over there right now? But, like, anyways, just to let you guys know, I definitely failed that exam, but I passed the class, okay? Like, I, like, did enough throughout the quarter. Um, but I think I had, like, 3 finals back to back, you know? And that was just one that like took the hit. Um, and then after I just like slept for a long time. I don't know. But like, yeah, it was really bad. So wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, I was also gonna say like it also helps to learn how to like manage your time and find like what works for you. Um, and like I guess like one example would be like what works for you like for studying, like or how much you can handle like for how many classes throughout the semester or quarter and like what you need to do to make sure you're studying efficiently and that kind of stuff. Like that's just one example, but also in general, like in life, finding how to like manage your time, like with work or like and how you want to fit in things that you want to do because you can. You just kind of have to like figure it out, and it may be hard at first because you're like trial and error and your body's like not used to it or whatever. But
Yeah.
um, definitely prioritize yourself. It's very important.
Yeah. Like Vanessa said, like we have definitely like gone through it like a year ago, winter quarter. We were taking like all labs because we thought that was a good idea for some reason. Anyways, but yeah, that's kind of, oh my God, my hair. That's kind of what I learned, like it's not the end of the world. We were working on a project for one of our labs, and I just could not get past a certain point. And it was like the due date, and I knew that I had to start on the next lab. And so I just like didn't get full credit. And that was like really scary to me because I was like, no, like I have to get like 100% on these labs because what if I don't do good on the final, or like what if I just do bad on a homework assignment, like, you know? But whatever, I like took the hit on that lab and I was like, it's in God's hands now, like thankfully like I pulled through the final. And so like things will like work out. So definitely like don't stress. Um I know it's like hard to just like believe that like when you're in the moment. But I kind of wish I would have believed that when I was like in that moment, because there was also times where I was like, oh, like okay, I'll eat like after I finish this, or like um or I can't eat until I finish this, and that's like really harmful, like actually really bad. But like I didn't think about it then, and then just like thinking about it after, I was like, what was I putting my poor past self through, like, and it's just crazy that like I would put myself under these kind of like extreme conditions, I guess, and I didn't even like realize it. But because I was like doing it so often, I was just kind of like used to it. Um, but yeah, it's definitely not a good thing. Like, um, mental health is important. I do remember like crying like every day, and it's kind of crazy because like no one really knows. Um, I was just like I would like see pictures of myself like a year ago, and I'm just like, poor girl, like only, you know what I mean? Like she was going through it, like, and it just like sucks to see that like a year later when you're like, I wish I could have given my past self a hug. Um, because she graduated. So it's all good now. Like
Yeah.
um
Yeah, I was gonna say like when you said, like don't stress. Like I would literally tell myself that, and then like you said, like it's easier said than done. Like but at one point I had to do it because like it was just like affecting me like physically also. So it was like you have to get it together. So it's like I had to tell myself like don't worry about it. Like you you can only do what you can. So it's like you do your best and like that is enough.
yeah.
And then like you just like have to realize that like doing your best is enough regardless of what the outcome is. Because like you did, your 110%. And it's like and you did what you could at the time. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like for advice, I would say don't compare yourself to others.
Mm.
Um, because like for example, like if we're using that project example that Victoria said, like I also didn't finish it. Different part, but I also didn't finish it. And like you hear other people like they'll say like, oh yeah, like this one was so easy, and it's like, oh, and then you start thinking like, how come I didn't get it? And like how come like they did? Like they said it was so easy, like, oh maybe I'm just so dumb. You know what I mean? It's like you start telling yourself these things and it's like, and then you believe it, and then it's like, then that's like what takes the toll on you. But it's everyone's different, and you have your own um what is it like best qualities and like maybe not so best qualities, and that's okay. You just gotta learn yourself and then do your best.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. And I think we try to do that just like with each other. Because we would take like some other classes like at the same time. And then like, sometimes like Vanessa would get a higher grade or I would get a higher grade and we'd just be like, how do we react to this? You know?
Yeah.
We're like, congratulations, but also like, am I gonna fall behind? Yeah. But I was just gonna say like it kind of helped that we had like dance as an outlet because like when we were there, I just like forgot everything else, like focus on just this. Like if you have something that you can turn to, like definitely do that, but focus on only that. Like don't think about like all the other stuff you have to do while you're doing that because then it's like you're not like present that whole time and then it's like you're still like I wouldn't say wasting, but like you're wasting like you like that good time, that like break that you were going to give yourself because you're still thinking about everything else that's going on. And if you don't have an outlet, I would suggest, find one or just like take a walk, and in that walk, like give yourself a break or like go to a coffee shop and get a coffee. Like that's what would get me through, to be honest. Like I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go get my coffee and then it's gonna be a good day. Like I just like going to downtown because it was like so pretty and that was what got me up. Um yeah.
So yeah, I hope that answered your question, Christian.
Just had one more thing though. Um if you feel like your life is like a little chaotic and you feel like everything's everywhere, definitely like set apart some time to just like at least for me, like I had to like um organize it and just like plan it all out, not necessarily like set myself deadlines and like because then I would stress myself out like if I didn't finish it, but it's like, like what's something that like I need to do first? You know what I mean? Like what do I need to get done like this weekend or like um even like a sequence, like I could do this and then this comes after, like just like prioritizing things, Um yeah, or
Yeah.
just things like you have to do like weekly or monthly, like so you don't have like all this stuff everywhere and then it's like where do I put it? Where do I put it in my schedule? I don't know. That's how my brain was like working at one point. So
Yeah, I do that now also. I just
same.
like I write like bullet points of like maybe this today and like a little further down the list is like what can be done like later tomorrow. I think it
Hmm.
just helps like you remember what you have to do and then like what's priority. Yeah, I would recommend. Also, if you need any more tips or anything, like feel free to reach out. We are open. Our DMs are open.
Yeah.
You can message us anytime. Like, how did you manage your time? Or like, what's one specific thing that helped you with your mental health? Or like, what are some study habits or um anything? Like, literally, I will do my best to try to help you and give you the best advice that we can in case
Yeah.
we didn't answer it here.
And yeah, and then you can also fill out our like form that we'll probably talk about in the next few seconds.
Yes.
And you can ask us a question there. Yeah, it's a good segue. Take it away.
Yeah, so if you've watched all our episodes, the 3 of them so far, we definitely appreciate you. We do this just so we can share what we can. But to learn more, visit our website. It has a lot of information of what we've done so far. And one tab will show these videos. Follow us on social media and stay tuned for our next episode, episode 4. We do upload our videos every other Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, because I'm an Eastern, she's in Pacific. And yeah, make sure to ask us a question under our contact tab on our website. So ask us anything. And if you haven't seen our last episode, or I don't know, Victoria, if you want to talk about the Latingeniera. Sorry, I
Oh,
kind of
oh
stuttered.
yeah. We do have a tab on our website that you can click on, Latingeniera. You'll find like a picture of Vanessa, a picture of me, and if you click on those, or there's a link there, if you click on those, it'll take you to the Redbubble page, specifically dedicated to designs for that. There's different like merch you can get, different designs with different just different designs, but there's like all this kind of merch you can get. So I didn't know where I was going with that. There's like sweaters, crew necks, bucket hats, notebooks, like duffel bags, coasters, just pictures, shower curtains, like literally you name it. The website might have it. Really. I don't really know if it has everything, but it might. And all of the proceeds from that is going to go towards supporting Latinas and minorities in engineering. So it will not be going to me. Don't worry. If you're like, wow, she's going to take all the money. I don't know if you're thinking that, but if you are, I'm not. Yeah, because we definitely want to continue to support in like any way that we can. And I feel like right now, because we're like in the beginning of our careers, I do want to contribute, and this is the way we're going to do it. So yeah, go buy something or even share the page. I also posted about it on my Instagram. Share the post. I posted about it on my TikTok. Share the post. Do what you can.
Yeah, do we can.
We're doing our part. You do yours.
Period. So yeah, that was episode 3. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Woo! Thank you.